Hello everyone, welcome to my fourth Christmas card idea in this year's Christmas card series. Today's card is quick and easy to make. I painted a very simple winter landscape with evergreen trees using just one color. Or to be more precise, 2 shades of one color. These are the products I used: Winsor & Newton watercolor cardstock, Kuretake Konsai watercolors, and a few brushes. Just keep in mind, you don't need these exact supplies. This is what I had in my stash. Use whatever you already have or can afford or is available to you. As I said, I picked 2 shades of blue, number 66 Prussian Blue and 67 Indigo. I also added black to mix with the indigo to paint the trees, and then I realized it wasn't needed. I started with the background, painting the sky and the ground using the Prussian blue, and I was creating a gradient. The idea was to create sort of a frame, not painting from edge to edge. Also, I did not want to use washi. I wanted the edges to be a bit uneven. But you could definitely use washi or painter's tape if you prefer smooth edges. Once I had the first layer applied, while it was still wet, I used the indigo with very little water, so it's really saturated, and I applied it over, I would say, a quarter of the background, and then I used the Prussian blue again for the rest, decreasing the intensity towards the bottom. I let the panel dry, and then I started painting the trees. On the first tree, I used a little bit of black mixed with the indigo, but as I said, I realized I don't really need it. The indigo with very little water was enough. I painted 5 trees, where the middle one was the biggest tree. And to paint the tree, I started with a line, and then in a zigzag way, I scribbled the branches, and I did this 5 times. Some trees I painted bigger, some smaller. This is completely up to you. You could also paint mountains in the background or paint some misty trees, but I wanted this to be very simple. Once I was done painting the trees, I wanted to add the ground or a little hill under the trees. To do this, I put a little bit of the blue paint on my brush and I applied it at the bottom of each tree. It did not look good at first. The trick is to use a clean damp brush and spread the color so it blends with the background, leaving only the line for the hill or the bottom of the tree. If your trees are still wet, you only need to use the clean damp brush. My trees were completely dry. I needed to add a little bit of wet paint so I can create the hill. So that's the winter landscape. If you like this idea, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And now let's make the card. I decided to trim the cardstock a bit. This is optional. I just prefer to have the panel with the painting a bit smaller than my card base. I use my paper trimmer and just cut a few millimeters from each side. Next, I stamped the greeting. I used a Merry Christmas sentiment and black ink. This is one of my most favorite Christmas sentiment stamps, and I used it on so many cards. I think it's from Clear Besotted. I bought it years ago. But if you don't have stamps, you can just write it with a black pen. Or leave it without any greeting. I think here it would work. Since this is a winter scene, I added splatter using white gouache. I'm not sure why I just splattered the sky and not the rest, because this is supposed to be snow. It definitely can be over the trees. I normally do this when I just want to add stars, so I probably did not think about it. You can definitely add a splatter over the whole background. Or actually you can also leave it out. I also decided to use these very light gold watercolors, and I splattered the whole background, and I also painted the edges of the cardstock. The gold paint is also from Gonzai Tambi. I think it's called Starry Colors set, and this part is optional. Lastly, I used liquid glue to adhere the panel on top of a card base. Here I decided to use craft card base. I think it works very well, but you can use white if you want, also blue would be nice. This part is completely up to you. And the card is finished. I really like how it turned out. Painting landscape is one of my favorite things, and this is a very simple project that doesn't take too much time. And I hope I was able to inspire you and you give it a try. This is not my first winter landscape Christmas card, so if you want more similar ideas, you can see 2 of them on the screen that you can watch now, and in the description below or over on my blog, I will share more. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate if you gave it a like, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will see you in my next video.